As a professional chef, Jim Gop searched for years for the perfect kitchen cutting tool. When he couldn't find it, in a grand New England fashion, he decided to create his own. Connecting Point producer Dave Fraser visited Jim at his forge in Richmond, Massachusetts to see just how he crafts his one-of-a-kind knives.
I've always been the sort of person that when I have something in my hand or if I see something I like, and I'm always interested in like what I can do to make it fit my hand better or, serve my life better. So I decided to give that a shot with a knife. I purchased some steel, some weldable steel, and researched on YouTube plenty of things and got some books and just kind of fooled around, drew out some sketches, purchased a piece of fire brick and some weldable steel from a hardware store, heated it up and pounded out a pretty crude tool to begin with. But I liked it. I thought it was very interesting how you can literally bend something as fixed as steel to your will. And I decided to kind of dig a little deeper. I love being outside. It's one of the reasons why I live in the Berkshires, because I love the change in seasons. And, sort of meditative as you're just working and really focusing on this specific, shape you're trying to get to where you want. And then when you're done, you can just look up and hear birds singing, or a creek going by or something like that. So it's really special. I like to be outside as much as I can. As a chef, I love knives. It's probably the most important tool a chef uses. So, I wanted to build one that actually fits my exact needs. Primary, basically workhorse when making a knife is a forge. The one I choose to use is propane-based, and it has what most landscapers will use. It's called a weed burner, but it's almost like a jet stream that kind of comes out a high volume of fire, very hot. Once the metal is really, really hot and workable, we'll transfer it to the anvil. And again, that's just a solid piece of steel. The one I use is about 75 pounds. You can get them in all different sizes. But you're using that as your base to basically begin moving your steel, working your steel, and you really want to create the taper. You want the the neck of the knife to be still thick, so it doesn't bend when you're working with it. So you want it to taper down so it takes a really nice edge. From that point, you just cut it out. You use like an angle grinder with a good sanding wheel or a grinding wheel, and then you get your rough shape from there. And then you just, again, we'll just start sanding and sanding and sanding, whether it's on a bench grinder or a sander, to get that taper down. When I very first got into this, I was like, oh, this is like a great way to get out aggression, to pound on steel and all that stuff. But then as you get into it, if you're going to be wailing on it like that, you're not going to go very far because the hammer's heavy and it's very repetitive. So it's a gentle moving of steel. You have to know what you're doing. And I'm in the hospitality industry. I'm a chef by trade, so when you're cooking a meal for somebody or you're taking care of somebody, it makes me, at the end of the day, when I go up to my clients at the end of putting in a 12-hour day when we're cooking over fire and everyone's exhausted and we're dirty, and I can go over and see the happiness in their eyes, when you say, this is what we've done here for you. So with making a knife, it is an incredible amount of work. It's dirty, you're grinding steel. Like, when I go home, I smell like steel. I take a shower and sometimes it doesn't even go away. So when I'm putting this much work into a piece that I can give to somebody, it really, that I know it's really going to make them happy. Something that's literally one of a kind. That's what I really appreciate it. The fact that you're really creating something special for somebody, that there's only one like that in the entire world.